Okay. Good morning. Well, let's straighten this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, it's Monday yoga, and I'm glad that you got up and you got tuned in. Today's practice is one that could be done in the evening as well. And a few things to start as we're going to be on our backs. You can either have a pillow or a blanket under your head, or you might want to roll it up so it's on the thin side, or fold a pillow and put it under your shoulders. I mean, not under your shoulders, but under your arms, across your upper back, not the neck, to open the chest. And then if you have some blocks nearby or some pillows nearby, that would be helpful as well. So the practice today will be one of mindfulness. And at the end of our practice, we're going to take a few moments in two poses for our hips to do some yin yoga. If you've never done yin yoga, it's just a matter of holding the pose for between 3 and 5 minutes. And I'll give you some options that you might want to choose from for that time. And then we just stay in that pose, and then we'll move right into Shavasana. So we'll start on the mat on our back, and then we'll finish on the mat on our backs. So that's kind of the plan today. Hope everybody can hear me fine. I think I need to make one adjustment. There we go. Okay, so let's come to Samastiti on our back, and then I'll show you how to fold the blanket. So if you had a pillow, maybe just fold it in half, and then you're going to lay on it right here under your armpit. I often do this with another yoga mat, but I don't have one. So if I took my blanket and folded it so it's more about this size, and then laid it here, and then watch where I lay on it. My arms are above it, and then it drops my head back. So this may not be the best option for you. Maybe start with your knees bent. The other option is to just take your blanket and use it as a pillow. So there's a couple of ways that you can begin. That might be a little high for me, but here we go. And then if you have a ponytail placement matters. So get yourself situated on your mat, either with something under the shoulders or under your head, and then the palms down by your side, palms down or palms up. Okay, so once you get there, let me walk you through. So Samastiti means we come to the moment. And so as you're laying on your back, maybe you've decided straightening your legs out might be a better option for you, but you can keep the knees bent. Let's address things as we would if we were sitting. So check in with Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor energy. Activate the Uddiyana, that lower belly above your pubic bone and below your belly button. Do that without squeezing your tush. Visualize your spine laying out on that mat, either supported by the blanket under your back or under your head. And relax the shoulders and tune into your breath. If you can, use the nasal passages to breathe. Otherwise, breathe through your mouth. Eyes can be opened, lowered, or shut. Feel the sides of your body expand on the breath in and contract on the breath out. And kind of move your mind away from its distractions. We all have them. Those of us who multitask, we all have those distractions. So let them go for the time being. And we'll take 3 more breaths as I join you on my mat. So wherever you are, straighten one leg and draw the other leg in. Have it be behind the knee or on top of your knee. If you want to move your blanket or your pillows so that you're just straight on the mat, that's okay. Circle the ankles around a few times in each direction. Pulling your toes back and forth a few times. And if your hand is on top of the leg, you're going to feel that musculature move. Hold behind your leg if not there already, and straighten and bend the knee. It doesn't have to, if you can't hold it, maybe you just go here. If you can go here. And again, you just go to where that muscle begins to restrict and you don't stay too long. Sometimes the knee will pop or crack. That's okay. It should not hurt. And then holding the foot up and maybe tracking so your knee will go across your body and out to the side. Maybe play a little ping pong. Your hands are there just to make sure that knee doesn't fall, or it goes further if you want to pull it further. And now see if you can make circles with the hip. And then go the other way. And set that foot down. Extend it, bring the other knee in. Ankles first. Feet back and forth. Straightening and bending the knee. Ooh, this side feels tight to me. And then holding the leg up, letting it come across the body and away. Some hip circles, so the leg moving from the hip joint, the knee remaining the same. And the other direction. And then go ahead, hug those knees in, but I would separate them. And then for the time being, roll off of your pillows or your blanket and scoot them up or off. So if you have one under your shoulders, just move it off to the side. We're going to come back on the floor, but now with nothing. If you need a little something under the head, some people do. If your chin jets up, you could put a towel there. Hands are down. Go ahead, bend those knees. Place them as if you were doing a bridge pose, because we're going to move into the bridge pose. So start with the pelvic floor, Mula Bandha, and just think of curling your pubic bone towards your belly button. So pubic bone toward belly button, such a small motion. And my hips or my tailbone doesn't lift. What I feel is a pressing down in my low back as I curl that pubic bone like you would do a wrist. That's a very small motion. Not to over squeeze the glutes. Mine are rather soft. So make the action happen at Uddiyana. Now I'm going to begin rolling up my spine very gently, and I'll move my hand out of the way, but you can leave your hand by your side. So as I roll and release. So I have not lifted my low back yet. I've just lifted my tailbone a little. Using my breath as my guide. Taking time to articulate your spine, rolling up and rolling down. Moving toward the apex of your shoulders. And holding down. Both legs go out. Cross one ankle over the other. So whichever ankle is on top, grab the opposite arm with the opposite wrist and let the arms move overhead, and then just kind of squirm or wiggle from side to side. Switch the hand grip, so now the other hand grabs the other wrist. Change the ankle cross, arms move overhead a little, and then wiggle and squiggle from side to side. And again, bring your knees into your chest. Now you have a couple of options. You can roll to your side to come up to a seated position. If you don't have any back issues, maybe you begin like a little rocking. And eventually rock yourself up, maybe. Come to sit on your bum. You can sit on the blanket. You can sit on your pillow. This is Sukhasana. Kind of find those sit bones. Zip up your zipper and lift your spine nice and tall. So let's address a little bit in the neck and the shoulders, because I don't think the masseuse is coming right now. So let's tend to ourselves. Elevate and depress your shoulders. Up and down the shoulders go. If it's better for you to sit in a chair or extend your legs out, that's okay. End up with the shoulders not up, not down, but as I call home. And you're going to retract the shoulders and draw them forward. The arms go because they're attached. So if your arms were down here, they would still be moving. Just initiate from the shoulders. Then end up back home. Now I have to be careful. I have this fireplace behind me. Maybe I'll scooch up a little bit. Putting the fingertips behind me slightly. This is where sitting on a blanket or pillow could be helpful. I'm going to move in a circular fashion with my shoulder joint. If there's issues there, go little and use a bent arm instead of a straight arm. So the arm will move forward, reach all the way up, and go behind. Find the floor. Reach the arm forward. Is there a wall behind you? Maybe you need to turn up first, go behind, find the floor. And repeat this motion. So this is modified. This is me using a bent elbow, making it a little more accessible for anybody who has shoulder issues. Up and around. At this point, the accent is on the up rather than the around. Now you may want to begin looking in the direction of the arm that's moving. So you get a little spinal rotation. And using your head. Let's do one more each way. Up and around. Last one. Bandha Konasana. This is where I move my feet to bring the bottom of the feet together. Again, sitting on a blanket or a pillow, very helpful. I'll turn sideways because I'm going to show you that your feet can be close. Some people do this or they've learned to do this. And then because of a knee issue, it may be more appropriate to have your feet further apart. I'm kind of in that in-betweeny place myself. So initiate from your belly button just above the Uddiyana action. As you draw the transversus abdominis together, you'll find that that back kind of rounds. Hold on to your shins, bow the head. And then as if a gentle shove was coming between your shoulder blades, the heart begins to lift and you lean a little forward. And again, draw in through the belly as you exhale and round. Let the heart lead forward as you breathe in and arch. Do this at whatever timing makes sense for you. You may want to go a little faster or a little slower. And now I'm going to stay up, lifting my spine nice and tall. Hinge my body forward in the pelvis. And then a feeling of surrender. So rather than going backwards to go down, I would like to encourage you to stay forward and go over. So that could be not very far. This is early in our practice. You could just be looking towards your hands, or you could feel the weight of your head pull your body forward in Uttanasana, forward fold. Nice full breaths. Feel the back expanding. Shake your head a big yes. Move your head a big no. Roll your spine up. Adjust your feet comfortably. Let the arms stretch up above. Join the palms, and with the hands at the heart, we cultivate our attitude of gratitude. Moving over onto our hands and knees. So I've come to appreciate anybody who might have some hand issues, as I have the gardening hand in the dominant hand. I'm still fortunate to be able to utilize my wrist. I know not everybody can. So knuckles with thumbs forward if you're going to be on your knuckles. And if you ever need to go into a forearm, I get that as well. So when you're on a forearm, be sure to anchor your shoulders. If you're on all fours, anchor your shoulders. And if you're on your knuckle, the shoulders are always anchored if you didn't get that. If your knees need a little padding, you're going to either double up the mat or lay a blanket, towel, or something under your knees. Spread the fingers if you can. Utilize your palms. Mindfully place them under your shoulders. And take a few moments to find this all four position so that each limb is sharing its body weight. You're not more in your legs or more in your arms. Kind of stiffen the arms, anchor the shoulders. Allow your head to be neutral or natural. I usually gaze toward the front edge of my mat. And I'll shift my weight forward and back. Maybe at first not too far, and if I can go a little further, I will. Moving forward and back. Pause in the center, shift side to side. So if you saw me, I would be going this way and that way. So we've gone forward and back, and then we've gone from side to side. And now how about we move in kind of a small little circle pattern? Side front, side back. If the hands begin to feel difficult, switch out to knuckles or forearms. Change your direction. Find your breath. Turn the toes under. This is where I work on my bendy toes. Accommodate for any knees as you back your hips up towards your heels. So it's less about the knee compression and more about the toes. So you can get there by just lightening the load in your knees. You don't have to lift them. You could sit back towards your heels and you could sit on your heels. So find your own way into your bendy toes. Okay, relax those toes. If you can for a moment, come up on your knees. If you can't, just go to your knuckles. So you're going to do a little bit with the hands. When you're on your hands and knees, we're going to just turn one hand under, pressing the back of that wrist and trying to straighten the elbow. That may be a problem, so you may only go a little bit. Then you'll put that hand back down, then you'll turn the other palm. So do a little wrist mobility. So the fingers point toward the other hand. I don't have much weight on that at all. Take as much time as you need per arm. Maybe you want to stay a little longer or just keep shifting hand to hand. Observing the changes in each hand. And then you either come to sit, I'm going to go back on my bendy toes, but you can just sit on your bum and let's move them in a circle, the wrist. If you just want to sit, that's fine. Don't aggravate your knees. And then go the other way. So there's a lot of work that goes into strengthening our wrist. You don't have to just repeat. Let's move to a standing position. So anything that you have on your mat, go ahead and clear it. Try not to use your hands as you make your way to standing up. I'll face you. Now you can be at the end of your mat facing the short end. I'm going to be facing the long end. I'm simply going to raise the arms overhead, and then I'm going to reach down and touch the earth with my head lifted and my fingertips touching. Now, you get there where you get there. The floor may not be accessible right away, so if you reach up here and then you're just able to kind of go to here, that's fine. Let's just see how the hips, the back, the knees, the ankles are all working together. Tadasana. Notice my feet are not together, though you could do it that way in the Iyengar style. I think this is a little more neutral for most of us. Tadasana, bandhas, breath, shoulders over your hips, not in front. Take a breath and let the arms go up. They can touch. Exhale, open the arms, bend the knees, try and move the hands toward the floor. Standing up, opening the arms, imagining that pillow between the legs to help support your back. Breathing in when you're up, breathing out when you're down. Nothing should hurt. Sometimes it's a little uncomfortable, things can get cranky. If it doesn't get better, then maybe it's telling you, careful, don't do that. Couple more. So the next time you come up, pause there and hold the hands together. And I'm going to step up and show you my hands. So this is what you want, but sometimes that's hard. So you see how I've crossed my thumbs to kind of lock them in? You can do that as well. So arms are up here, palms are together. I've locked my thumbs. I'm going to stiffen the elbows. I'm going to push down on my right foot, lift up with my arms, and then laterally lean to your left. Try and keep your face between your arms, that the arms don't come forward. If you need to soften the elbows for whatever reason, I understand that could be an accommodation. Otherwise, try and keep both elbows straight, especially the bottom elbow. Release your top arm first and your bottom arm second. Pause, assess, and let's do the other side. Arms rise up, join the palms together. You can lock those thumbs. Now this time you're pushing down on your left foot, lifting up with your arms, and then laterally leaning, tipping to your right. As you're breathing and holding there, keeping your arms really straight, I'm going to see if I can back things up a little bit so you can see the top of my arms. We'll see if that's a little more helpful. Release the top arm and come all the way back down as you stand in Tadasana. I'll just kind of adjust this a little bit more. I'm crooked. And now we'll go up and down again as we were doing a moment ago. Breath in, you're up, and breath out, you're down. How are things better? Bandhas, bandhas, breath, breath, hips back. So the heels stay grounded on this. This time we're going to stay forward. So the hands are on the floor, and I'll turn forward sideways so you can see. So fingertips on the floor, knees are bent. I'm going to lean forward and try and lift my hips. My legs may or may not straighten, but my fingertips are on the floor. How are the hamstrings feeling? So bookshelf pose, bring the hands above your knees. Here's my knees. Straighten your elbows, lift the spine so that the elbows are straight, that the spine is long, that you're looking outward, and that your bandhas are in. Now you may lean back towards your heels. I'm going to say lean forward. This is the wall. These are the brackets. Your back is the shelf. As you bend the knees, lay the body towards your thighs. Grab the hands behind you. You can either grab them or lace them. Straighten the elbows, look down, and then also try to straighten the legs. May or may not happen. As you release, bring your hands down to the mat. Come gently down onto the floor and lay all the way down on your belly. So you may have to turn yourself, I'm not sure how you're oriented, all the way down on your belly. So this is the bird dog from our belly. We know bird dog to be on hand and knees, or sometimes standing, opposite arm, opposite leg extending. So if you can, stretch the arms in front. I know your head's going to be down, so you won't be able to see in a moment. Do you want to watch first? So if your head is down, so all I've done is lift my opposite arm and opposite leg. I did not go fast because I wanted to engage with my glutes. Let's go ahead and move through that. I would encourage you to engage your bandhas, not forget about them. Pause, slide the hands back just behind the shoulders, hug the elbows in. Keeping the knees down, lift the bum up just a little so your hips are off. Keep the hips up as you elevate your chest, child's pose of your making. So either knees apart as you back, or puppy dog if that's your option. Walking your hands back. Coming into a downward dog. So palms, knuckles, forearms. I'm going to demonstrate forearms just to show you that is a fair option. Here are my forearms, here are my toes under, here is my down dog. Now traditionally this would be called the dolphin, but you could be here, you could be on knuckles, you could be on palms. Raise and lower your heels a few breaths. Leave your heels up, bend your knees, look at your hands, and walk your feet up. Squeeze your legs, release your arms, check in with your blood pressure. Coming all the way up. And the hands into the heart. So we're going to be stepping into Warrior Two on each side. So just for the time being, let me face you. I'll have to scoot up so I don't step back into the fireplace. So I'll be stepping back with one foot, opening my arms, looking forward, and then coming back center, and then doing the warrior on the other side. So what you see is my knee is tracking, that my arms are not this way, and that one arm just didn't go back, but I kept my shoulder forward. Here's the profile view. Stepping back, and you try and step back and look at my foot. It didn't turn back, it didn't turn sideways, the toe is slightly forward, and then stepping back up and on to the other side. Shall we do that together? Did you already start? Go ahead and work through Virabhadrasana 2. So it takes some core strength to stop yourself when you get there and to pull yourself back up. Try not to be thumping. Try and move gracefully from position to position. Little balance challenge, yeah? Next time, one leg is back, leave that one leg back. And then settle, refine it a little more. So maybe your knee is behind the ankle, take it more forward. Maybe your body is not turning toward the long end of the mat as much as it could. Maybe that top shoulder should pull back. And let's go in and out of the exalted warrior. Breathing in, returning warrior two. And you only go back as far as back feels appropriate. Pause in warrior two. Engage your core as you step up. Tadasana. Now go ahead and do the other side. I'm going to move to the other end of the mat for a better view. Step back into the other side and then refine that warrior two. So really have that sense of being grounded, lots of authority. In and out of the exalted warrior. Use your breath. We don't have to be doing it at the same time. Next time you're going to stay in your warrior two. Get very grounded and supported so you can step up. And now turn sideways on the long end of your mat. So if your device is toward the short end, you'll just be looking over your shoulder. Okay, the arms measure the distance of the legs. You're pretty close. I don't know, I'm about a foot away on each end. Mula Bandha, action of Uddiyana. You know how some pants are high risers and some are low? These are like hip hugger ones and they just don't, I always feel like I need to pull them up. Okay, hands at your hips. I'm going to lift the spine. Remember in this one, you can move the hips forward if you know you have some issues in your back, some spinal stenosis or things. So you can move the hips forward to create a bit of a curve. Otherwise, traditionally, you just lift the chest and return center. You don't have to look up if that makes you get a little dizzy. You can look outward. So you feel the work of the upper back. Let me turn sideways, give you that profile view. This is with the accommodation as I push my hips forward to help minimize the bending in the low back, L4, L5. And then here's what would be traditional, leaving my hips and arching my back. Just understand the difference between the two and then choose the one best for you. Okay, this time when I go forward, I'm going to slide the hands above my knees. So there are my knees, I'm going to stop above. Almost like that bookshelf pose. So project your heart forward. Feel that your sit bones are spreading. Slide the hands over the knees to the shins. You're using your hands for support. Lean into your toes. If this feels far enough, stay here. If you can go a little further toward the shins or perhaps the hands on the floor under your shoulders. There are those who might also put the head down. As you come up, reposition the hands above your knees. Zip your zipper, lift your spine, bend your right knee, and put both hands on the right knee. As you begin to bend deeper into the right knee, keeping your hips back and hinging forward, the left leg is straight, and this is where you're going to feel that inner thigh pull. Some of you may put the hands back to the floor. Some of you may want to spin the leg that's straight up and drop. Wherever you go that allows you to feel the inner thigh, this is just fine if this is where you get to. Coming back up, walking over as that left knee begins to bend, ascertaining your position. It may be different on one side. You may have more options available. Find your breath. Walk your hands center. Hands above your thigh. Squeeze that big imaginary pillow as you rise. Again, check your blood pressure. Thumbs come to the small of the back. Weight at the top, or lift your chest and do one more back bend. Coming back center. Release the arms and walk your feet in, and then just kick out your legs. So we're going to do a little bit for the hips. You may want to hold on to something, so if that means bringing a chair over or holding on to something that's nearby, a wall, we're going to let that one of your legs, it won't matter which one, come above your knee. So just so you know where my knee is, above my knee, and then my hips go back. So it'd be an introduction of standing pigeon pose. So you would hold on with the leg that you're standing on, bring the other leg up above the knee, open that knee that's bent, push the hips back, and either hold on to your leg, hold on to something, and then lean forward. So what you're trying to experience is the bent knee hip, or even into the glute as you hinge forward. Notice my knee is pushing over my ankle. It's really me backing up. So you can have that element of balance or not as you breathe. Standing up, opening the arms, opening the leg, back to Tadasana. For those of you who have to turn around to hold on to the thing on the other side, go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead to do the other leg. As you open the leg, bring it up above the knee, so you see that foot is pointing away. Back up your hips as the chest goes forward, hinging. Taking your time to find the hip opening. Find your breath. Standing up, open, and close the posture. So let's do a little hula as those hips go around. So the hips and the back have that special relationship. Let's go the other way. And some core strengthening in the form of plank, drawing a knee forward. Now your plank could be elevated, or it could be on the floor, could be, as we said, on knuckles or on forearms. So let me show you with my little low item here. Now my back is going to be to you, so I'll give you other views as well. Here's my plank. Here's my knee pulling forward and going back. So if I wanted to use blocks to elevate me from a forearm position, I get to my plank and I draw the knee forward. If you're going to be on the forearms, you really need to elevate the arms, be it on a chair, seat, or a ledge of something, so your plank may be a little more up than parallel to ground. But you'd need blocks if you're going to be on the forearms. If you're going to be on your hands, you've got enough space to work with under your torso. Keeping your chin lifted. And if you need to change from palms to knuckles to forearm, that's okay. Just try and keep things going. And then if you get to the point where you feel you need a child's pose, that's okay. If you can keep going, a few more. All right, let's all go to child's pose. Once in child's pose, kind of digest that experience. Were you able to recruit from the abdominal muscles as you held yourself steady and made the abdominal wall draw that knee up? Did it perhaps elevate your heart rate a bit? So give yourself one more restorative breath. And then we're going to stand and do just an easy flow. You know all these poses. Clear your mat unless you want to use the blocks, if you have blocks, for your down dog and plank. So this will have a chaturanga. That means the upward dog or upward plank or cobra, baby cobra. So if you want the blocks to put your forearms on, that would be an option. I'm going to use that option to demonstrate with first, just so you know how it would go if you were to use that option. Otherwise, your hands will come to the floor. So come to Tadasana at the short end of the mat. Root the feet. Engage your spine. And take a breath as the arms rise. Bend the knees, bring the hands down. Step back into your plank. Lift the hips, down dog. Raise one leg for a three-legged dog. Raise the other leg for a three-legged dog. Come to plank. Coming down. Going up. Coming down. Lifting your hips. Coming back to your downward dog. Raise your heels, bend your knees, look forward, walk, step, or jump. Squeeze the inner thighs, release, rise. And hands to your heart. We go again. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, bring the hands to the floor. Lift your chest. Walk back into a plank. Into a downward dog. To a three-legged dog. Switching legs, three-legged dog. To a plank. Coming down. Going up. Coming down. Going up. All the way back to your down dog. Raise your heels. Bend your knees, look forward. Walk, step, or jump to your hands. Squeeze legs and rise. Once more. Arms lift. Then we fold. Then we lift our chest. Back to a plank. Downward dog. Three-legged dog. Switching legs. Three-legged dog. Downward dog to a plank. Coming down. Going up. And down. Hips up from knees or toes and back to your down dog. Raise the heels. Bend the knees, look forward. Walk, step, or jump. Squeeze legs and rise. Join the hands together at your heart and palms down. Nice. And let's come to the long end of the mat. So we again stand in a long straddle. So each one of those, first one I did on forearms, the second one I did on palms, and the last one I did on knuckles. Because I think it's always good to know that you have some options. Those, you know, one day it could mean one thing, another day another thing. Hands at hips, lift your chest, breathe in. Bind the hands behind you as you fold over. Lean into your toes, make sure your feet parallel with the edges of the mat. Draw the shoulders back to get more opening. This time as you release the arms, bend the knees and walk your heels and toes a little closer. So you come to either a modified squat, resting on those forearms. For those who can, move into full squat with hands at heart, not always available. If you're in the full squat, you have to make sure the heels are down, otherwise go modified. And then we're gonna come down onto the mat. So I'm kind of close. I'm thinking I'll just go ahead and plop right down, but you may need to go up to come back down again. Okay, that's fine. So we're gonna do sidearm balance. So we'll do it from the hand, from the knuckle, from the forearm. You have those three options. So let me show you the setup. You're gonna need to lay sideways on the long, facing the long end of your mat. So if I were to have my knees bent and have my fingers pointing off the short end, I would lift my hips this way, and this would be option one. That's a full flexed hand. If my hand said, yeah, no, I don't think so, I would have a knuckle with my thumb forward, again, using this modified short lever, lift my hips and reach my arm. And then if I wanted a third option, I would be on my forearm, but instead of my fingers pointing short end, my fingers point to the long end. My knees are here, I elevate the hips, and I hold. Now for anyone who wants to fully extend the legs, so if I were on my hand, to get there, I'm gonna say the top leg goes behind you so you can get secure on the edge of your bottom foot. Once you get on the bottom foot, you then can work to move the top leg up and then be here. So everybody choose your position and take 5 breaths. Now, if you're like me on 2 feet, you want to take the top leg back so you can safely come down. All right, let's go the other side. Roll over or switch sides. Let's decide what the best option is on this one. So here's my fingers pointing, my knees bent, loading my shoulder over my hand and here. Or knuckles, thumb pointing short end, knees bent, lift. It's a nice option. Or forearm, fingers toward the long end, knees bent or legs straight. So I'm going to do the one with my forearm with the legs straight. Make sure they're not too far front or too far back. They're straight out the side. With this one, you can have both legs stacked and you're on the edge of the foot, here's what people do. They put the top foot down and they use 2 feet. You just want to be on 1 foot. So use your option, elevate the hips, and stay for 5 breaths. Now, if you're using that top leg option, you're going to put it back. Otherwise, if you're with me, you just put your hips down, bring your hand down, and we'll come to sit with our legs open. Now, how far out your legs go really doesn't matter. It's kind of nice I have this fireplace. I can use it to lift myself up, or I can use my hands as I reach my buns away, use my fingertips to lift my chest. So the shirt should feel smooth, your spine should feel lifted, however you can do that. My feet are active. I open where pinky toe is moving out rather than in. And I can either, one of 2 things, squeeze my thighs so my knees flatten, or I can relax the legs. If it's very, very tight, don't add the extra stress. This is our space we're opening into, the inner thigh. Now we did a little prep work for that. Remember we were in a straddle and we leaned to one side and leaned to the other. So this should help us be a little more comfortable. But if you need your blanket or pillow to sit on, go ahead and do that. I'm quite a fan, as you know, of opening my inner thighs, not just the outer thighs. Now you may feel like I'm just going to stay here because my inner thighs are as far as they're going to go, or you may be able to go further forward. It doesn't matter, you be you. This is the time you go to your breath, and the little words in your head are like release, let go, surrender, allow, those kind of words. Engage through your bandhas as you come up. And we're going to stay here just a wee bit longer. And to make a little more out of it, use your hands to lift your bum up and scoot it forward a bit. So I load on my hands, lift up my bum and scooch up. Ooh. And again, get my spine nice and tall. Use my hands to bring the chest forward, because you want the integrity in your spine. If you round the back to go forward, you're not making progress at the inner thigh, you're just bending your back. So make sure you're leading with the heart, not with the head. If your hands always stay behind, so be it. If you don't need the hands, you can bring them in front. And slowly bring yourself up. This time, let's be very gentle to those inner thighs. I usually put the hands behind and help release as I rock back. And once you're sitting, hands go behind, and you can drop those hips, drop those knees to open the hips a little bit. Sometimes your back, sometimes your shoulders. So this is where we're going to do a yoga mudra. And yoga mudra, this is where we're going to do yoga nidra. So we're just going to do yin yoga, and then the shavasana will follow that. So That means we're just gonna stay in our last two poses, and let me give you your options. You could shift to a wall, put one foot on the wall and the other foot on your thigh. Or you could stay on the floor and do this. I think the wall is nice because there's less involvement from your upper body. So if I were to show you from here, here's me getting support for the foot that's up, and then all I have to do is worrying about my knees staying open. Now that's option one. That really helps you take care of your back. For those of you who would like to investigate a little more about the pigeon pose, I'm going to propose that you use a blanket or a towel or even a pillow, and it's going to fill the gap. So this is pretty large that I have here. So the orientation will be, I sit on this with one hip of the leg that's going to be straight back, of the leg that's going to be bent. The leg that goes back has this little space up front. So I'm going to get up on to the block, to the mat with the pillow or the blanket. And then I will have my knee facing forward. I'll bring my blocks here because I might want to lean on them like this, or like this, or lower. So right now, I'm going to tell you this is my left hip that's sitting up, and then my knee in front does a right angle from knee to foot. What doesn't happen is this foot comes back. So going straight across, so I can use that blanket or towel to do that. Now this leg can either come back as I begin to work into this position. Maybe I cannot make that leg straight, but that's okay. I can have my leg almost straight as I square my shoulders and pull my hip that's behind me downward. If you're going to go to full pigeon pose, you're going to slide the leg back, relax the toe, and either be here or eventually you may shift and go a little further down. Think of your hips as pointing toward the floor. So I've given you the option of either being at the wall in the figure 4 or on your back, and 3 to 5 minutes we will just be here. Feel free to adjust as you need to in this position. So you should only be at about 70% of the intensity. So we're not trying to like blast our joints apart. We're addressing the fascia, the skin under the skin that gets kind of plastic and stiff. So as you position yourself either like this, turning the hips forward, leaning forward, or extending the leg back until you feel a little bit in the hip joint. Nothing should be felt in your knee. And then I'll let you know when it's time to move on. Begin to deepen your breath and become a little more aware of your bandhas. If you're in that pigeon pose, similar to what I'm doing, you'll make your way up ever so slowly, shifting onto the hip of that front leg so you can release the back leg, and preparing for the other side. Now, if you're doing the pigeon pose, I will help set you up on that. And if you're doing the figure 4, you're pretty good to do that, I think. Put the other foot on the wall, the other ankle on the knee. Remember, you're only looking at about 70%. So I've turned and my hip is sitting elevated on a blanket, a pillow, or a towel. My front knee is bent toward the edge of one mat and my foot comes straight across. It doesn't come back, leaving my knee forward. I've got my blocks here to help me to rest on. Now this back leg can stay bent, but I'm going to take the hip of that back leg and reposition it forward. That will rock my weight forward as I shift into it. And each leg can feel very differently. Again, we're not looking for pain as we sustain in the yin style of yoga. And if you can, extend this leg straight out with the top of the toe down. Both hips point toward the ground. You can rest on your elbows or all the way down. As you move your way toward your last few breaths, and engage Mula Bandha. And the action of Uddiyana, and slowly transition yourself out of whichever variation you utilize, taking all the time that you need. So we transition onto our back where we began our practice. You can have the blanket, the pillow, or a yoga block to put under your hips. So the yoga blocks are a little firm for some people. This is why having a blanket or a folded up towel is a little nicer. So whereas we began our practice with our head and shoulders elevated for opening, now we're going to do a little bit of supported inversion. You can stay in this inversion through Shavasana, or when I mention that we're moving there, you can transition out. So my blanket's a little on the wide side, so as I get myself back, as soon as I lay down, my knees want to come in. Now you have some variations. I put my hands on my thighs and let my thighs rest on my legs. Let my thighs rest on my hands. Yes, my thighs are my legs. Or I may want my legs up and then hold them here. Some may want to take the hands behind for a little more hamstring and lay the weight of their hands upon the thigh into reverse forward fold. So your hips are elevated, which will make things much more gentle. So you're in this inverted position. And the knees can be bent and apart with your hands on your thighs, or the legs can be straight and folding over with the help of gravity. And you continue with your breath. A nice little inversion in lieu of a shoulder stand. This is one of those options. So if your legs are straight, go ahead and let the knees bend so you can eventually bring those feet down onto the earth. Maybe you thought you liked that feeling and you just want to stay there. Otherwise, with your feet on the earth, gently press down to elevate the hips and remove the block, the blanket, or the towel. And if you need something over you because your body now feels cooler, you can take that blanket and lay it over you as you have a few moments for Shavasana. This is our time where we just let go and surrender everything on the earth. Wait for the singing bowl. Let this time be yours. And so we deepen the breath from wherever we are and wiggle our fingers and toes, awakening the body, appreciating the body, thanking the body. And to take in these thoughts today about miracles, the Talaman is quoted as saying, "Hope for a miracle, but don't depend on one." There's no harm in wishing for miracles to get us out of our worst messes, unless wishing all this that we do, unless wishing that all we do is all that we can do. We'd like someone to offer us the perfect job. We want our friends who are ill to recover quickly. We long for the person of our dreams to desire us. Sometimes miracles do happen, but more often we must be the architect of our own miracles. Instead of waiting to be offered the perfect job, we buckle down and work our extra hours. We network and apply ourselves so that when the right position finally does come along, we have a good shot at it. And if not in the work, any other application would be just as sensible. Our thought today, I can dream of miracles, but I will do what I need to do to make good things happen. So wherever we are in our lives, we want good things to happen, right? And so we can dream of them, we can wish for them, we can hope for them, and we can also plan for them by arranging our day. And I thank you for including yoga in your day today. So go ahead and bring yourself to a seated position. As we sit nice and tall and mindful, recognizing the importance of our breath, stretch the arms out to your side. Just kind of embrace this day that will never come again. Let the arms rise all the way up with the palms together and the hands at the heart. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Well, we did this, and as I said earlier, I think this might be a good end of the day practice if you want to remember this one, because the yin yoga is a nice one to kind of help bring you down. Can be intense for some people. So we've got a couple more Mondays before I head off to Portugal. So we'll do some live Zoom classes, I think 2 more times, and then we'll be on recordings for the month of June. So thanks for joining and enjoy the rest of your class, the rest of your day after this class. Namaste.